I'm Harrison Graham. Here's what we got on the docket here on Chicago Bears Now. We heard from the coordinators today at Hallis Hall, Dennis Allen, Richard Hightower, a couple of things that they had to say that I want to dive into. Luther Burton is hungry for more after his big breakout game against Dallas. And then we get into the latest injury news around the Bears and one player for the Raiders to discuss there as well. My name is Harrison Graham. Let's talk about this matchup a little bit. Keying in on Brock Bowers, Dennis Allen called him explosive today and acknowledged that he is going to be a challenge. Now, he is playing with a little bit of a knee issue, so keep that in mind, but he is still their most dangerous and consistent weapon. Having another good start to this year. Not quite the volume that he had last year, but Aiden O'Connell kind of just force-fed him a year ago. Geno Smith doing a better job of kind of spreading the ball around. Trey Tucker's been playing well. So does Jacoby Myers. So they've been spreading it out so far this year. But this guy's a mismatch machine. I loved him at Georgia. I remember watching him as a true freshman. I was like, this guy's going to dominate college football, then go be a good pro. That's exactly what he's done up to this point. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how Dennis Allen chooses to defend this guy. I mean, I think 6 players could defend him at any given moment. Obviously, Tremaine Edmunds. You don't want. Why am I blanking on the other linebacker with T.J. Edwards out? Noah Sewell. Thank you, producer Colin. You don't want Noah Sewell on him. Sewell's playing well against the run, but in coverage, if he's stuck on Bowers, that's not a good matchup. Both safeties could get him, obviously, Brisker and Byard. Nick McLeod playing nickel could get in on him as well. And I wouldn't be shocked if at times Tyreek Stevenson and or Nashawn Wright guarded him with their press man skills. I could definitely see that, try to kind of get in his face off the line of scrimmage, so that's certainly a possibility as well. Speaking of Tremaine Edmunds, Dennis Allen had this to say about his middle linebacker. He said, he's a guy we're going to need to count on to play at a very high level. Not only do those replacements for injured players need to play at a high level, but you need some of these veterans to play even better. And I thought Tremaine Edmunds had one of his best, if not his best game as a Chicago Bear last week. On the season, he's got 29 tackles. Both interceptions came a week ago. He's got 3 breakups and a tackle for loss as well. But last week, 15 tackles, 2 interceptions, a TFL in a game you got to have. I mean, that's stepping up to the plate for Tremaine Edmunds. And I've been tough on him because I don't think he's lived up to that contract Ryan Poles gave him a few years ago at $18 million per year, but he played like an $18 million linebacker last week. He flew around, and that's why Ben Johnson gave him one of the game balls. Well-deserved. And they need him to do it again because he might be guarding Brock Bowers some. He's going to be involved in run support against Ashton Genty. Like, this is not going to be the easiest matchups for him in this game. And so hopefully he can step up to the plate and deliver because that's what the Bears need him to do. That's what they pay him to do. Give a grade for Tremaine Edmunds' season so far. A, B, C, D, or F. Give him probably a solid B+. I think he's off to one of his better starts in his career in the NFL. And who knows, maybe he plays his way into sticking around for the final year of his contract next year as well. Okay, let's talk about Luther Burton, who is hungry for more, according to Richard Hightower, of course, coming off that breakout game against Dallas. We'll get some thoughts on the rookie receiver and return man here in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you guys about today's show sponsor. That is Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. It's great to have football back. Your boy is up several $100s right now because I've had a big couple of weekends here hitting on some Prize Picks lineups. The way to play is simple. You pick more or less on stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups. If you get your lineup right, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. That's right. Certain lineups get 2,000x. $10 can turn into 20,000. You can also do flex plays, which Prize Picks invented, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. This week, Prize Picks is offering a max discount for Jalen Hurts, more than half a passing yard. I've used him in a 3-player lineup along with Ashton Genty, more than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. I think he finds the end zone against Chicago at least once. And then Rome Odunze, I love the more than 61.5 receiving yards. He's been on fire this year, and the Raiders secondary has issues. So big fan of that 3-player lineup. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS in lineups, or to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, here's what Bears special teams coordinator Richard Hightower had to say about Luther Burden III. He said, I like that Luther is fearless and he's never satisfied. He was texting the night of the last game, really upset about the kickoff return that he had and seeing how he could be better at that. He's hungry. Everything we've heard and everything we've seen ever since he got back from whatever that OTA's injury was, I think it was a hamstring. I think he's bought in and he's locked in, because remember the whispers come around draft time where does he love football, like not that he's one of these locker room cancers, but does he take plays off? And I think Ben Johnson's intensity and just straight to the point kind of coaching, like, hey man, if you don't block, you're not going to play. Like he wasn't saying Burden specifically, but all guys, like what you do without the ball in your hands is going to dictate how often you get the ball. Then we saw in a couple of those preseason games, he was blocking his ass off. So it's like, okay, like this guy wants to be involved. First 2 weeks, didn't do that much, had a couple nice kick returns, but then heading into last week, Ben Johnson told the media straight up, hey, yeah, we want to get him a package of plays this week. We want to get him some opportunities. And boy, did he deliver. On 3 targets, he had 3 catches for 101 yards, had that long touchdown of 65 yards on the flea flicker play, had an end around for 7 yards as well, took advantage of all of his opportunities. He's been getting some chances on kickoff return as well. I would make him the punt returner too. He is just so dynamic with the ball in his hands. Like, I'd be looking to get him the ball as often as possible. I don't know if they just don't want to throw too much on his plate, or if they know if they switch to Burden, then Devin Duvernay's spot on this roster is kind of worthless, which maybe there's some truth to that, but it's like, I want the better players to get opportunities. It'd be one thing if Burden was a full-time starter receiver, but he's not. He's your 4th guy behind DJ, Rome, and Zacchaeus. So that's what I would do. I would make him the full-time returner and continue to increase his workload on at receiver compared to what we've seen early on in the year. So I'm a big fan of what I've seen so far. Obviously, last week was a great kind of breakout game for him, and hopefully he builds on it. If you want to see more Luther Burden, type me in the comments, because I do. I want to see this guy play, and I want to see this guy get very, very involved. All right, speaking of playing or not playing, did not practice on Thursday. Same guys as yesterday. Darnell, Wright dealing with that elbow injury. Colston Loveland with that hip. Grady, Jarrett with that knee. He hasn't practiced a ton the last few weeks regardless, so I still feel good about his chances of playing. And then Kyler Gordon and TJ Edwards still dealing with their hamstring injuries. My gut feeling on just kind of who's going to play, who's not out of these 5, I don't think TJ or Kyler plays. I think they're both out. Those soft tissue injuries with the bye week next week, I just think they're going to play this cautiously. If you get to 100%, sure, play them. But is that going to happen between now and Sunday at this point? Haven't practiced at all. I just think holding them out is going to be the move here. I do think Grady Jarrett plays. He's a veteran. They've been managing his practice load with that knee. I think if he can go, you give it a go, and then you got the bye week next week to hopefully have that knee heal up fully. And then I think Darnell and Colston are kind of on the fence. I could see it going either way. I thought Darnell would at least do some work today. He did not, so I'm not as confident as I was yesterday. I still think there's a decent chance he plays. And then Colston, I wonder if they are on the side of caution there too, because Cole Kmet's been playing pretty well. Durham Smythe filled in pretty good last week once Loveland went down. They might just play it safe with him as well. And, the bye week being next week, that does play into the calculus. So certainly a possibility. The interesting thing would be is if Darnell is out, who plays at right tackle? Is it Ozzie Trapillo, who's been inactive, or do they go with Theo Benedict? I think I'd go Benedict and then have Ozzie active. And, if Braxton were to go down, Theo can slide over. Or obviously if Theo slides down, Ozzie can just slide in to right tackle. Either scenario, he would be the first man up at the right tackle position. Limited on Thursday, DeAndre Swift with that hip for the second straight day. Jalen Jones limited for a second straight day after missing all of last week, so we'll see if he can get back out there as well. A semi-important one there because you've already used one of Dallas Flowers' game day elevation, so if you can avoid using a second one there and have Jalen Jones active, that certainly would be helpful for depth in the secondary and obviously special teams play. Cole Kmet, good to go. He was limited yesterday with the groin, but he practiced in full today. as did DeMarco Jackson. So both those guys should be totally fine and ready to play on Sunday. Really, the only notable Raiders injury to watch is Michael Mayer, the number 2 tight end after Brock Bowers, and it's a significant one if he can't go. He's in the concussion protocol, so if he can't play and Brock Bowers dealing with that knee, if Bowers isn't 100%, then he's not going to be able to play every snap. I would be looking at a lot of 11 personnel from Vegas this week. I don't know if that plays into the Bears' hands or not, but Mayer's been one of their better weapons early on in the season. So if he can't go, that's certainly helpful for Chicago and their defensive plan. Who you got in this one? It's a big one. Pair of 1 and 2 teams. Type CHI for the Bears, LV for the Raiders. Who wins this one? I like the Bears to win this game on Sunday. I want to hear from you guys down in the comments of this video. That's going to do it for Chicago Bears Now. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to this episode. We will continue to have video content to get you ready for Sunday of Bears versus the Raiders. So hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications.